Hello Summers, and welcome back to another episode of ProGuides OP Pick or Ban, now on patch 10.9. These are champions that are a little bit overtuned for one reason or another, so they have the power to affect your games more than they otherwise should. In light of that, you will be wanting to either deny their existence altogether or secure them for your own team. Before we get into it though, our question of the day is, what champion did you get your first penta on? If your answer is Katarina, then go wash your hands, take a shower or something, because you definitely need to clean up your act. But let us know your answers in the comments down below, and with that all out the way, let's begin. Darius is our first top laner for patch 10.9's OP champions. Darius has been cruising at the top for the better half of the season, especially after Riot gave him the ability to heal off jungle creeps a while back. He's a top lane juggernaut capable of doing well in most matchups that come his way top lane, and he does particularly well against a lot of popular tanks right now. Basically, Darius is the same dominant pick that he's been the entire season, which is not really a surprise. He's still grabbing people with his E, still auto-canceling with his W to slow their escape, and still sustaining through damage with his Q spin attack, and of course he is still dunking on anyone and everyone foolish enough to let him build up to 5 bleed stacks. If you haven't been playing him by now, then you should be, or you should be banning him because he is a nightmare to go against. Fiora claims the second top lane spot for 10.9. Fiora is a duelist champion who loves to get a lead through a big outplay and then run it through the side lane for all it's worth. She's an incredibly difficult champion to beat 1v1, and after the recent death stance changes a few patches ago, she's even harder to kill than ever. Fiora wins fights by repositioning with her Q to dodge skill shots and proc vitals, and by using her W to nullify important abilities that enemies rely on to succeed. Her E is an auto cancel that guarantees her a little bit of extra damage, and when she procs her ult, the healing that she receives from the zone is insane. This enables her to take an active position as a split pusher, and while the enemy team is sending multiple people over to deal with her, Fiora's team can take objectives for free, especially since Fiora can probably just kill everyone the enemy team sends anyway. Here are those top lane builds for you once again before we move on to the jungle picks. Our first jungler for 10.9 is Graves. Graves is a skirmishing jungler who excels in invading the enemy jungler and killing them when they farm. He doesn't necessarily have the strongest ganks in the world on his own, but with the amount of damage that he can bring into a lane and his fast and healthy clear through his shotgun shell knockback, he doesn't need to. Graves' explosive canister on his Q deals a good amount of damage in a decently sized area, making it a good choice for killing and farming alike. Graves' W is a smoke grenade that blinds enemies inside of it, and his E lets him dash a short distance and give him another shell in his shotgun, buying him a third auto attack before having to reload, as well as letting him kite out the enemy junglers and keep destroying them and giving him some tank stats. What it lacks in complexity, it makes up for in power, so use it to obliterate any remaining targets. As an added bonus, some Graves players have been finding a mixed success with Sanguine Blade, so give it a shot and see if you like it. Also, quick shout out to one of the best Graves I know, Frank Asobi. You are awesome, and keep carrying my games, please. Thank you. He actually added me through ProGuides, so if you guys want to go ahead and get some games in with me, add me on N8DGR8. Olaf is our second pick for 10.9, due to his almost unmatched ability to win early fights. Olaf is a jungler who shines best when he's striking down the enemy jungler and scoring up with them as often as he possibly can, which is what makes him so strong right now when setting a jungler behind is so hard for them to recover from. Olaf is rewarded for getting into a fight and committing to it, gaining more attack speed the lower his health is. Olaf's Q throw is an axe that has a great bit of damage and is slow, and if he picks it up then he gets it refunded so he can just throw another axe and continue his chase. His W gives him attack speed and boosts the healing that he receives, and his E is an auto attack reset that deals true damage. Olaf's ult makes him immune to any form of CC, which is pretty straightforward and allows him to just rush the enemy backline and track them down with impunity. Here are those jungle builds one more time in case anyone missed anything. Our first pick for our mid lane is Galio. Galio is a beefy AP champion who can soak up a decent amount of damage without having to actually build full tank. More importantly than that though, he has got a long range ult that lets him join fights to save his teammates when they're in danger. Even though he's geared towards being more helpful than being a hard carry, he still hits like a truck. His Q's Tornado does enough burst and dot to clear waves and lets Galio roam, especially when paired with his passive and powered auto attacks AoE. Once Galio has ulted into a fight, he's able to follow it up with a Justice Punch or a taunt to keep the aggro on him and buy some time for either his team to follow up or escape. He's just an excellent pick for helping your team make plays, and the global presence is never a bad thing. Speaking of map presence, our next pick in the mid lane is Talon. Talon is an AD assassin with a huge burst of AD damage and incredible roam potential, which is pivotal for any mid laner in the current meta. Unlike most champions built around roaming, however, Talon is perfectly capable of getting solo kills in his own lane. Talon's passive makes it so that damaging enemies with his abilities 3 times, then auto-attacking them makes them bleed for heavy dot for a short duration. It might sound like it takes time, but a good Talon can rattle off 3 ability hits in about 1 second before they have their ult, and about a half second once they do have it. His Q lets him dash to a target for damage or just straight up crit them if they're close enough. His W sends out 3 blades that come back to him for even more damage, and his ult lets him go invisible, throw out blades in a circle around him, and then target all those blades onto whoever he auto-attacks next. Most importantly, his E can let him jump over terrain, making him an absolute roaming monster. Rather than having the cooldown on the ability itself, the ability's cooldown is isolated to the terrain that Talon's used it on, which means he can take one route into a fight and another route to escape with no real punishment. The mid lane build should be back on your screen right now, so take a look-see. Ezreal is our first bot lane pick for 10.9. Ezreal's been floating around in the top tiers for a long time now, in no small part due to how good he is to blind pick and scale safely. He's a relatively long-range ADC with his Q as harass, but he also has a really nice burst of damage with his W. Ezreal's E is a short-range blink, and honestly, it's half the reason why anyone picks Ezreal. The safety offered by his blink and his range poke makes him a great pick all around, and you just have to be able to land your skill shots. Ezreal's ult is a global energy blast that does a great amount of damage, and it's mostly used for finishing off kills trying to escape or for opening up team fights when the other team is still clustered together and it's easiest to get as much damage as possible from it. It also stacks up his passive really quickly, so using it before a team fight is also a really great choice. Back again for what feels like the millionth time this patch is Miss Fortune. Please play this champion. Please. Miss Fortune is a zone controlling teamfight ADC for some reason, is also given great roam potential through her W's passive movement speed, and great laning poke through her Q's bounce crits. It's actually insane that she's been as strong as she is for this long as she has. She dominates the lane, and then if you try to gank her, she just uses her E to disengage, or heck, maybe she'll just use her ult and kill you for having the audacity to look at her. Imagine being punished for ganking her lane. She seems to have the most dominating teamfight presence available in the game, and she also seems to have a worrying lack of tangible weaknesses. On top of that, it seems that Riot has no intentions of messing with her, so you'll see a lot of value of learning how to play her. Play her ban MF, do it for your LP, do it so Riot will finally nerf her. The bot lane builds should be up on your screen one more time in case you didn't see it before. Our first support is Janna. Janna is an enchanter who particularly is useful for peeling off carries and keeping her team safe. She has disengages for days and her utility is one of the most useful in the game, perfect for just pampering that annoying ADC that complains about everything. Janna's Q is a tornado that she can use to charge its speed, range, and power when it knocks people up. Her W is a point and click slow that passively gives her movement speed and helps her roam around the map. Her E is a shield that blocks a pretty large amount of damage as well as giving its target a little bit of bonus AD. Her ult is a channel heal with the added benefit of knocking away enemies close to her on its initial cast. Janna basically makes it so incredibly hard to get on her team as she quite literally blows you away, so you'd better be packing a lot of engage options. Blitzcrank is our final pick for patch 10.9. Enchanters are back in flavor, with champions like Janna and Nami seeing frequent use in the current meta. And when enchanters are in favor, Blitzcrank is in favor. The best way to deal with enchanter supports is to kill them before they have time to enchant anyone, and this is where Blitzcrank shines. Blitz's all-in pressure in the early game is too huge for enchanters to do anything about, and if he hooks them with this Q, then they're actually just dead before they hit the ground after his E's knock up and his ult silence. There's not much that you can do when Blitz activates his W move speed and runs them down, especially if he lands a hook at a long range where they'll be able to be too far away from the allies to do anything. It's not often that we see Blitzcrank as a top tier pick, so have your fun while you can. And finally, the support builds are there for you guys one more time to check out. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you guys enjoy this video with the rest of our 10.9 series soon to arrive. Once again, let us know in the comments what champion you got your first Penta with so we can go ahead and hit you with that hot fresh heart react. We really do love hearing from you guys. Also guys, make sure to check out our Valorant and Teamfight Tactics channel if you're interested in improving on those games at well. We also have coaches at ProGuides.com to help you really become good at those games, so don't miss out on that either. If you're trying to impress a girl with your LP or your ELO, trust me, we are the way to go. I've been trying to do that for the past couple of months using ProGuides.com, and I'll tell you what, I get so many ladies now, it's crazy. Trust me, it's absolutely wild. And that's gonna be all for today. I'll see you guys on the rift and in the comments section down below. If you guys want to get some games in, make sure you add me on N8DGR8. I'll be playing some League of Legends sometime later today. I don't know when they will release this video, but it'll be soon. So go ahead and add me, and I would love to get in some games with you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next time.